Hello everyone, welcome to another video of mine. Now this chapter 6 in woodwork technology has to do with fasteners, adhesives, and hardware. Okay, fasteners, adhesives, and hardware. So we're gonna go through it, and you're gonna learn about all the different types of screws, nails, fixtures, fittings that you put on your build. Okay, so let's go.
Goosebumps every time. I need the Heimlich. Throw that to the side.
Right, so this chapter deals with the materials that you use to bond wooden structures together, and these are the methods of securing or fastening members of a structure. Okay, and it may be temporary, it may be permanent, but it gives it a finished look on your project. Right? So there are various types of common fasteners, and a fastener is something that is used to put two things together, basically. And nails are the most common type of fastener, and these are made from mild steel, and they consist of three parts. You have the head, which is right above here. You have the shank, which is right here, and you have the point. Okay, the point goes into the wood or the metal, whatever you're using, and some nails you have some of those that are coated with zinc to prevent them from getting rusty, and you want to use those maybe on the outside of your house, and those that are inside you're less likely to get rust and so on, so you want to use them. In terms of price, they will cost more. Those that are coated will cost more than those that are uncoated. Okay, all right, so there are other metals such as brass, copper, aluminum that may be used for hammers, for not hammers, for nails, and they are liable to be destroyed easier, especially the aluminum, which is much more lighter than, let's say, the steel wire nails. Okay, so if you see nails that are cheaper, it's probably because they are made from a less dense material or metal. Okay, all right, so well, let me come back to this. These are the different types of nails. You have the diamond head, joint head, the flat head, and the spring head. This is mostly used on roofs, and they use it for like aluminum roofs and so on. These are more wall nails where you have the head that is not as flat. So you have different various finishes for the heads also. So if you want a certain look for your piece of material that you are fastening together, you want to use the right nail. Okay, all right. Here it shows you methods of inserting a nail. I don't know if I need to show you this, but it shows you how to join two boards together. You make sure it's vertical, and unless you are doing something like a stud where you need to angle your piece. Okay, and angling your nail actually prevents it from sliding back out very easily. So it depends on the project that you are using. Okay, all right, you also have a wiggle nail, which is like a grooved nail. So you actually nail it into the side of two pieces of board, and it actually holds it together, which is this one right here. Okay, all right. You can also bend if your nail goes right through the material. You can bend the end of the nail to prevent it from um, sliding back out over time, because over time you have movement and you have weathering, and it causes the nail to just slide back out, which is why screws are much more um, better to use over nails, but screws are more expensive, as you may understand. All right, so let's go on to how to use the hammer when taking out the nail. Okay, so you have your regular hammer, you also have pincers that you can use to remove nails, and here they show you what the claw of the hammer is used for. Okay, so you want to use a scrap piece of wood. You don't want to damage the actual wood that you are taking the nail out of, so use a scrap piece of wood, and then you just pull it out like that, and use a scrap piece of wood for the pincers also. All right. All right, so we're moving on to screws. That's all you need to know for nails. It's pretty basic, and just know the various types of common nails. All right, so screws now, different story. You have different heads for screws, and nowadays you have various types of new technology for screws. So you have hex heads, you have star heads now. Back in the day, it used to be just flat heads and Phillips heads. So now you have different types, okay? Um, they're using the star heads and the hex heads because they actually are interlocked. They're not exposed, so you don't have any sliding or slipping or anything. So they're actually using them nowadays. All right. So these are the different types. You have the countersunk, you have the round head, you have the square, and you have the self-centering point screws. Okay. All right. So like I said, these were the different types of screw heads. Phillips, your flat. These are the common ones that have been used since the beginning of time, basically. So you have those. Screwing screws into hardwood, you want to make sure they are vertical. You can countersink, and countersink means make a groove in the wood for your screw so that the screw is not exposed at the top of the wood itself. Okay. Uh, these are more fitting heads. These are more of the modern screw heads that are used nowadays. And a note that you should never screw a hammer. You should never drive in a screw with a hammer because it damages the wood. Okay. All right. So I think everyone should know that, but just a note. Um, we are going to move on now to wood adhesives, and this is things like glues and things that hold the board together. So one thing you should always do is be careful when using glues. You should always read the safety instructions before you use them because they are very poisonous, and you want to avoid contact with your skin for certain types of adhesives. Um, Adhesives can be grouped into three varieties. You have protein, you have synthetic, and you have contact adhesives. Okay. All right. The type that you use depends on individual properties. So if you have a project that needs to be glued together immediately, you can use a different type of glue. If it's a number of glue ups that you are doing and then you need the time, you probably want to use one that takes longer um, to dry or to bond together because you need the time to make sure everything is perfect before it goes together because you won't be able to take it apart. Okay. Um, we're going to move on now to hardware fittings, and these are certain things like locks and things that you put on the cabinetry that you're using, or the doors or windows or whatever. Okay, so you have casters, you have locks, you have catches, you have French locks, you have springs, you have all kind of different. And if you go to the hardware store, you'll find all of those types of fittings. And again, it depends on the project that you are doing. And if after a while, you would know what is best for your project. All right. You also have bolts that you should be familiar with. Bolts are usually used on doors, and you have different types. You have the barrel bolt, you have the offset bolt, and you have the flush bolt. Okay, and here you see them. You also have handles, you have knobs, you have ring pulls, and you have finger pulls. So these are the handles right here. And the knobs are actually round and smaller. And you have the ring pulls, which is just a ring that you use your fingers to pull out. And you have the finger pulls where there is no space, it's just a carcass and you just pull it out. Okay. All right. The next thing we're going to go on to is the stays. Okay. So if you have a box or a cabinet or a cupboard and you want the door to stay open, you want to use something like this where when you open it, it actually stays that way for a while until you're finished doing what you're doing. Because if you have a hinge and it just closes back, it actually defeats the purpose of you being able to um, take out whatever is in there, because it will be closing all the time. So you want a stay, and of course this is for an exact project that you may need a door to remain open for a while. Okay, all right. So these are the stays. We're gonna move on to casters. Okay, you might know them as wheels. Wheels for a cart, wheels for anything that you want to move around. These are casters, and you have the various types of casters. You have the ball, you have the round casters which swing around. Um, you have the screw ones which actually screw into the wood. You have those that are in office chairs, and you have the tubular one which fits into um, a certain hole. Okay, so you have various types of casters, and these casters should be able, they have different sizes of casters, and you don't want to buy a caster that is too small and won't be able to withstand the weight of what it's holding up. Okay, so you want to get it to the right size. Okay. The next thing we're going to go on to is hinges, and you have lots and lots and lots of types of hinges, but we're going to go through four of them. You have the butt hinge, and this is used mostly for doors, where, like I said in the previous video, button is put in next to each other. So the butt hinge is actually not seen because it's actually inside of the door. Okay, and this prevents theft and so on. So if you have the butt hinge, you want to put it on the inside and screw it in so that people on the outside won't be able to actually screw off the door and get inside and so on. um, you have the strap hinge. This, however, is exposed, so you can put it anywhere. You can put it on the outside, and you usually use nails for them. The purpose of the strap hinge is basically to hold up the door and to open it. There's no security purpose for that hinge. You have the back flap, which is similar to the butt hinge. However, the back flap goes all the way forward and backwards. So if you have a door, it doesn't open one way. It opens both ways. So you can swing it all the way well, actually 360 degrees. Yeah, 360 degrees. Okay. And the last one is the hook or the band hinge. And this is used mostly for gates. So it's not commonly used because you would be more familiar with the first three. But this is a hook or a band hinge. All right. So here it shows you how to install your hinges. When you put your hinge on, you don't want to well, you can put it flat on the board, but in order to make it look even much more neater, you inset it into the board. So you'll need to know, you need to have a chisel, hammer, that kind of stuff, and inset it into the wood itself so it looks snug. All right. And I think that is it. So check your understanding and make sure you go through the different pictures and understand what they mean. Okay. All right. So I'll catch you on the next one. Leave your personal thoughts, what you thought about the video, things that you need to know that you didn't hear from this video. Just let me know in the comments. Okay. Hit the like button and follow me and hit the bell notification for more video if this is your first time. All right, I'll catch you on the next one. Take care, stay safe, peace, bye.